Before we can begin to talk about how to become a better public speaker, we first need to examine how we got here. And I don't mean how you got here. If you have a question about that, you might need to go talk to your parents. What I'm talking about is how we got here as public speakers. To do this, we need to go back 5 million years. Okay, not really, but we need to go back to Athens, Greece around 500 BCE. Athens is considered the birthplace of democracy, and as such, the ancient Greeks valued participation in public politics. There are 4 key players in ancient Greece that formed many of the practices that we use today in public speaking. First, we have Aspasia of Miletus, otherwise known as the mother of rhetoric. She educated men in society on the topic of rhetoric. Before we go any further, I want to point out that rhetoric is the art of persuasion. Aspasia is even believed to have taught Socrates everything he knows. So basically, without Aspasia, we wouldn't have everything we know about public speaking. Next up, we have Socrates. Socrates. It's not Socrates. Socrates was interested in asking us the important questions that focused more on the why rather than the what. Do you have the evidence to support your claim? Is there a counter-argument? Why does any of this matter? These are all things that Socrates taught. Following Socrates, we have Plato. Not like Pluto, which will always be the 9th planet no matter what you say to me, NASA. As I mentioned before, Plato was a student of Socrates. However, he kind of threw a wrench into everything when he condemned rhetoric entirely. Plato disagreed entirely with the sophists, those who taught and practiced rhetoric, and took more of a dialectic approach. This means that Plato didn't concern himself with human emotion, context, or the audience, only focusing on logical argumentation. So why does all of that matter? Well, we need to understand that while the ancient Greeks did argue over the 2 ideas, we can use both. In effectively delivering a message, we need to be able to persuade our audience, but to do so in a valid way, making sure that our arguments are logical. Finally, we have the man himself, the man who changed everything. Say it with me, Aristotle. This guy wrote the book on rhetoric. No, seriously, in 330 BC, he wrote Rhetoric, the first complete guide regarding rhetoric as we know it today. At the center of Aristotle's theory of communication was the audience. This helped him identify 3 means, or proofs, of persuasion. These 3 proofs are ethos, pathos, and logos. We'll talk more in detail about these on a different episode, but for right now, just know who came up with them. Aristotle's teachings in rhetoric strongly influence us today, but he also really influenced the people in ancient Rome, which is exactly what we're going to talk about in our next video. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see discussed on this show and how I can help you become a better communicator. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.